There are no excuses for having weapons incidents. A weapon does not fire itself. You fire the weapon, and you are responsible for that weapon. So I just wanted to make a quick video today pointing out the incident on the film Rust involving Alec Baldwin. And I'm sure that you have definitely heard about this by now because it's all over mainstream media and basically everyone has an opinion on it. And it's everywhere. You can't miss it. And if you have somehow missed it, there was a weapon given to Alec Baldwin, the actor on set and also the producer, and he shot and killed the cinematographer and injured one of the other crew members. Now, it is worth pointing out as well that Alec Baldwin is a producer of this film, and the crew of this film have raised safety concerns in the days prior to this incident happening. But I'd also like to point out that I am not saying that Baldwin intentionally did this by any means at all. But something that I see the mainstream media getting wrong at every step, really, is the term prop gun. Now, what a lot of people, I guess, assume when you think prop gun is a cap gun that kids run around with at parties or your dollar store cheap plastic guns. That is not a prop gun. A prop gun on a film like this is a real gun loaded with blank bullets. Now, myself, I spent just shy of 7 years in the infantry, and I would have handled thousands of both live and blank ammunition. And I would say that I've got a fairly good grasp on going between the two natures of ammunition and the dangers between them. And the way we do it, so typically when we are doing a live fire activity, live rounds, not just down range, but when we're doing like a complex, like an attack on exercise, like, we are doing a section attack to an objective, we will run through that with blank ammo first to reduce the risk of an incident happening. But when we're going between the natures of blank and live, a proper clearance is conducted. All the soldiers, all the diggers and privates, everyone line up. They get rid of all their ammunition, all their live ammo is taken away. Then, a rank of, say, a sergeant or a corporal will come through and clear all your kit to make sure you are clear of any ball live ammo. And then, you bomb up with blank ammunition in your magazines for the blank fire, and we do vice versa going between natures. But also when we fire blank ammunition, we require what I would call a BFA on the end of a weapon, a blank firing adapter. You'll often see as like a red thing about yay long, so 4 inches long, off the end of the weapon. That also acts as a bullet catcher. My understanding is it will take 2, 3, 4 rounds into that before something could come off, and then it's a lethal weapon. And this bullet catcher, the main purpose of us using this is cycling the weapon. So the back pressure off a round makes the weapon actually cycle through, so you can have an automatic, semi-automatic weapon. Otherwise, you'd be racking it every time. But it also has that added safety protection. Now, I do understand that this you can't really have this in a movie, and that is understandable. But my point is, there's been safety concerns on this. If you are going to be handling any weapon, whether it's a prop gun or not, you have a responsibility to yourself, to everyone on that set, of being correctly trained on that weapon system. There are no excuses for mishandling a weapon system. The way I see this is the equivalent of driving to an intersection, closing your eyes, and asking your passenger, is it clear? And then having a car incident and then blaming them. You are in control of this vehicle. It doesn't matter if they're licensed or not or whatever, you're in control. At the end of the day, you are the one pulling the trigger. You are the one who needs to know what state that weapon is at. Now, I can understand the complacency of you've done this for years, you've never had an incident, whatever, but that is complacency. This is why you have steps in place of every time you pick up a weapon system, you check what state that system is at. Every time. And that becomes just habitual knowledge of that's what you do. And you know what state that is. That's why you were trained on the weapons, to reduce that complacency. And this is why you have like a buddy system. It reduces the complacency. There are no excuses for having weapons incidents. A weapon does not fire itself. You fire the weapon, and you are responsible for that weapon. And being correctly trained on that weapon system. One of the first things you learn when you start handling weapons within defence, at least in the Australian defence, is the buddy system. You are unloading a weapon, you and your buddy are inspecting what state that weapon is. And you would never, even if you get handed a weapon, it doesn't matter what rank this guy is, where he is, you unload the weapon and go back to the state of where you wanted it, wherever you want it, load, action, instant, whatever. But you have to know what state that weapon is actually at. And that is your responsibility. That's why you receive training on the weapon. And within defence, there are weapon incidents, but they are very few and far between, considering the amount of rounds downrange every single day. You might have 1 or 2 incidents in an unload bay. Comparatively, this is not some shot like this, shot and killed. I have had a safety incident on a range before, personally, and I got absolutely chewed out for it. Now, it was an incorrect failure on my behalf, and I take full responsibility for it through keywords failing on a crew-fired weapon. Now, there was no safety sort of implication, but it was a safety incident. It was reported, and I take full responsibility for that. That was my fault, rushing through whatever. And I guess there's a part of this as well, as Alec is a very outspoken anti-gun lobbyist. And I'm sure everyone has seen the posts on Twitter about, police shooting someone or a shooting happening, where he has reshared them, months and years before, about imagine accidentally shooting someone. Well, I guess this has happened. And the things that is annoying me is the term prop gun, and I guess taking any responsibility away from him. At the end of the day, I'm not saying that he meant to do this at all, but I am saying if you are going to be handling a weapon system, you assume that weapon is loaded. It doesn't matter what you think it is. It doesn't matter if there's a weapon on the ground without a magazine on it. Something can be in the chamber. And you need the correct, safety precautions in place for using blank ammunition. Weapons themselves are not dangerous when you follow the correct procedures. This is how the Army, I think we've had maybe 1 death in the past 3 years from weapons-related incidents. But across the Army, we would fire thousands of rounds a day. And that was a complete different incident to this. This is why in Hollywood, in militaries, there are safety steps in place to stop this happening. And on a set like this, there's no excuse for not having, ballistic shields or something else in place. This was rushed, and I see a lot of people coming to the defence of Alec, and I get it. I'm not saying he's, guilty of murder. Of course, he did not mean to do that. But he actively was the producer of a film that had safety concerns brought up. He was also the lead actor. And he has fired a weapon of not knowing the nature of the ammunition in it or the state of the weapon, and has shot and killed someone. And that is the fact. It's incredibly sad. And my thoughts go out to the family of the young lady killed. And, if there's anything that come out of this, hopefully this sparks something of, in, movies like this and whatever, when weapons are being handled, that they are handled safely. Look, more will come out around this of, whether it was fragmentation in the barrel or a round in the chamber. That is something that has been, I guess, reporting on it is a bit of both ways. But there's also been reporting that there was no medic on set, no medic qualified to deal with a gunshot, like a GSW trauma like that, what is also just unforgivable. So I guess that's my 2 cents of how we handle weapons safely, very safely. And an unloaded weapon cannot hurt you unless I grab it by the butt and whack you on the head with the barrel. That is the only way an unloaded weapon can hurt you. I'll be very interested to see how this all comes out in the wash. But yeah, what I really want to get across is that prop gun is a real gun. And if you know, people going, oh, it's a prop gun, prop gun. Well, why is someone dead? People don't die from prop guns. Right. Okay, thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. Cheers.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.